I want to praise Imavov. I've never found myself praising Imavov, and it's not because he doesn't deserve it. I remember being quite nervous about Imavov the day that Sean Strickland had to fight him. It's not as though I don't know what a skill set he has. There's just always been something happens that stops me, right? I mean, Imavov's going to fight Kyle. Huge news, but I didn't pitch in. Why didn't I pitch in? Well, it wasn't on pay-per-view. And not only was it not on pay-per-view as of 3 weeks ago, we didn't know for sure if it was going to happen because if Kyle would have got called to go to work against DDP and or Khamzat Chimaev, then the fight would have been off. So there was no point getting excited for it 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. Whenever we found out that Kyle was going to be a backup fighter, the likelihood that they were going to go through the match was very small. If you're Kyle, you step in, you grab a world championship. Do you take that world championship to France and honor the deal and take it against Imavov? It's exactly what should have been done, but something tells me and tells all of you it's not what would have been done. So how do you get excited for it? I'm just sharing from my perspective, like I really would like to serve Imavov. But something keeps happening where I can't. And there's a very lazy approach by analysts who are not employed in the space, where they will talk about who's better at stand-up and who's better on the ground. If you would like to be employed in this space, if you ever have a dream of doing that, and you find yourself talking about who's better in the stand-up or who's better on the ground, you need to just understand you're not going to get a job. I don't say that to be a dick. If you start finding yourself using words like clinch, footwork, or keep him at the end of your punches, like if you find yourself using that kind of vernacular, you're never going to get paid to share your opinion in this space. There's exceptions to everything. If we were to go to Imavov and we were to ask him, hey Imavov, I got this magic wand. I can't control the outcome of the fight, but I have a magic wand and I have the ability to decide if this fight is going to be standing up or on the ground. And you get to choose. Which do you want it to be? And Imavov for sure would have said, I would like this fight to be standing up. Now, if we took that same offer with that same magic wand into Kyle Brawl, he would have said, I want it to be on the ground. So when you have a 25-minute affair that is all standing up, which both athletes and the audience agree favors one guy, that one guy better whip somebody's ass. Can we agree on that? That one guy better chop him up. Can we agree on that? That one guy, if he in fact is going to be the guy to bring down Khamzat Chimaev, has got to have a skill that's overwhelming. And that's where I run into the problem. I want to elevate Imavov, and I think he has done some very hard things, and I think that he is a very good fighter. I am trapped at that. I'm trapped at the gates of looking into a fight against a grappler that stayed primarily in the stand-up where you wanted it and was a lot closer than we were led to believe it would be if it stayed in the stand-up where you wanted it. I'm stuck. I can't quite work around that, but I want to. Israel Adesanya weighed in. If there's anybody that has the right to an opinion, it's Israel Adesanya, particularly at this weight class, right? The greatest the weight class has seen. And Adesanya was trying. I watched him do it. He was trying to make a case for Imavov to beat Chimaev. And Izzy's case for Imavov was, hey, look, if he can stop the takedown is the derivative of the statement, keep it standing. And Izzy went from there. He said then Imavov could beat him. Then Imavov could chop him up. But isn't that the exact same thing that we were told prior to Imavov's fight with Kyle? If he could stop the takedown, if he could keep it standing, he'd be a nightmare. He'd be a disaster. This thing won't see the second round. He'll chop him up. He'll knock him out. He'll finish him. Isn't that what we said? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, did any of you find yourself saying, did any of you put out a tweet? Did any of you read somebody else that said if Imavov can stop the takedown and stay with Caporal, we're going to have a long drawn-out evening and turn to the judges, and hopefully you guys are still awake? Did anybody say that? Did anybody say if it stays in the stand-up, this is going to be a pretty close match? Did anybody say if this stays in the stand-up, one thing that we know is we're going to see all 5 rounds? No. No, it's not what we were told. It's not what we were told at all. So now, are we to make the belief that in the stand-up against the Wolf, Khamzat Chimaev, the undefeated champion of the world, if it stays standing, that we're going to have a new champion? Is that idea too far of a reach? I'm asking the question. I'm not answering a question right now. I'm asking you, would you buy that? Would you be the one that was tasked with selling that? Do you think you could sell that? Now, Imavov might well draw into Chimaev, and there's parts about that that I support greatly. Beating Kyle Bow, the head of the Fighting Nerds, has to mean something. Getting a win in a main event on ESPN has to mean something. Stopping a guy's takedowns is pretty good with the takedowns for 25 minutes has to mean something. I want something good to happen at Imavov. Having a win over Izzy Adesanya, who I just told you I believe to be the greatest middleweight to have ever done it. It has to mean something. But I gotta be able to sell you on the idea that if he keeps the fight in the perfect realm, as he did this weekend, that he can chop up the Wolf. Do you buy that? And if you don't, it forces us to look at the other semifinal. There was 2 number 1 contenders fights. And yes, I realize it's an oxymoron, but you realize that it's very common in our industry. And there was 2. And now we've got Imavov that emerged from one side. But we're going to have Fluffy Hernandez and or RDR emerge from the other. And it's you that will choose. It will be up to the audience. And when you're making that comparison against Chimaev, it's not as though Izzy's wrong. Izzy is very right. You got to be able to stop the takedown. But if you stop the takedown, there's a direct implication that you got to be able to beat him up on the feet. Is that what you saw? Is that what you believe? Between RDR, between Fluffy Hernandez, and between Imavov, which of them, if they stop the takedown, are you confident can beat Chimaev on the feet? It's a simple question. It's not meant to be a trick, and I do want to serve Imavov. I believe Imavov, as of right now, is our rightful guy that we should look to be next. But I would be getting ahead of myself knowing that Hernandez and RDR is still out there. So tell me, who do you think between those 3 has the greatest chance of dealing with Chimaev?